Now, I thought it was fall, but it feels like winter today.
It does.
So let's go ahead and get started because we have a very busy day. So if there's anything that you want to talk about, anything that's on your mind before we get started, you're more than welcome to discuss anything.
I don't think so. I tried to implement some strategies that we talked about in the
Okay.
last, and they really did work, especially doing more Think, Pair, Share this week. My fourth and fifth graders are doing kind of a friendly competition to see an instrumental piece that they may be doing at their Christmas concert. So they're trying it between different classes. And this week, having them think, pair, and share the section they just learned on the glockenspiels is wonderful because they can collaborate together. They talk about what they liked about it, what was difficult for them, and then they tried it together as a pair. And then moving on to a bigger group and then the whole class. That was something that really worked, and that's a version of Think, Pair, Share. So I really enjoyed that. Um, but yeah, thinking of different things you can do.
So that leads into my first question. What has gone well?
Mhm.
And you said the partner, working with a partner,
Mhm.
has gone well, so
For
that's
sure.
great. What are you seeing that shows this strategy is successful?
Seeing the improvements after the Think Fair Share was implemented,
Mhm.
or even other things, even after they're implemented, seeing what works and what doesn't, and most of the time it has worked. With this, I've seen that students are more confident because they've tried it with a partner. They've tried it first playing for them, and then they've played together. So whenever they do that, they build confidence. And it also leads to them being more proficient on that instrument, and that's what I look for. I look for
Okay.
proficiency. So.
Um, what progress has been made toward the goal? And you did mention that they're getting better at the instrument, so that's how you're gauging that. What did you learn through using this cooperative strategy?
It shows me in what groups, what percentage of the class is proficient at what part of the piece. So before, I would look at the class as a whole and I would see, okay, maybe I think I see about 4 or 5 students who are struggling with this, but now I can actually walk around, listen, and then see, okay, these 3 groups are getting it and they're playing it as a whole. These 3 groups are struggling with it and need more time and further instruction on this. Okay, let's review this. So it actually gives me an accurate representation instead of guessing, instead of saying, I think these are getting it, but actually having some measurable data. And today I was able to see that at the beginning of class, 10 of my students out of 30 were struggling with a certain section. By the end of the class, only 3 or 4 were still missing it.
Awesome.
And that's a big improvement. So being able to do that and to see, okay, wow, I now have a measurable goal here, a measurable goal and then a measurable result. So pretty cool.
So the next question is what surprised you?
Mm-hmm.
So to me,
like
that would be an awesome surprise to see that much growth in your area. But was there anything else that surprised you about them working in pairs?
It shows me too that some pairs don't work well together, and then I have to rework them. Or some pairs will go off task, and you have to go around and either change a pair or just keep reminding them. If I remind them a couple of times and they're able to get back on task, they're fine. But for the next group, I say now maybe you should pick another, and that works well. Not calling out one student, but saying, okay, find someone you haven't worked with yet, or find someone who's wearing this color shirt, find someone who's doing this or has the same birthday month as you. That works as well. I didn't use that today, but I used that this week. And then also that when I walk around, I also see some students who don't work well in groups at all. And giving them that option of either a bigger group, number one, or being my partner. And they enjoy that. They really enjoy that. So.
And what roadblocks are you running into? You did mention that you have to tweak their partnerships. Any other roadblocks for the cooperative learning?
Behavior sometimes. This actually improves behavior in some areas. But in some instances, students that work in groups like to perform for each other and be funny and silly sometimes. And so trying to redirect that behavior, and sometimes that ends up that student has to sit out. For my expectation is that the students are listening when I'm talking. Their mouths are up. I say freeze, mouths are up. And if they're not following that and they keep playing, I give them a warning. And then after that, they come and sit. I take away their instrument. I give them it back about 5 minutes later because I don't want to stunt their performance in the long run.
Right.
Because they'll miss a whole part of the lesson.
Mhm.
So, but what I've seen is that that has really helped. And in some cases it doesn't, just because of constant behavior issues. But that's being dealt with in forms of owl bites and other
Right.
things.
Do you want to keep using the strategy as it is, or would you like to revisit a different strategy? Or are you happy with the strategy that you're using right now?
I'm happy with this strategy. I think you definitely need to differentiate every week and not use the same strategy over and over again. But I'm happy with how this turned out. I'm happy with the results, and the students are too. They like being able to do things and help each other, and that actually is something that I'm thinking about using for recorders in the spring.
Okay.
They're going to try out for each other and then try out for me. So I
Okay.
think that'll be wonderful.
So you do want to keep the strategy, and of course you can, like you said, modify anytime, revisit it throughout the year. Do you want to change the way that you measured the progress? Did you like that you were able to get to every group and hear as that individual group performs and assist where needed?
I did. I think that was a more accurate representation in the end of how many students actually are getting it and how many are not. I would like to go to individual one day in some way. This is a difficult lesson to do individual with just because I can't have all of them come up and perform it for me in a span of 45 minutes and then get on to another part of the lesson. That would have to be something every week I would have to do. But that's something I'll have to think about. I've heard of computer programs students can download on their Chromebooks and can use, and it allows them to play on their webcam, and then it grades them based on their progress. I've thought about that, but they would have to take a glockenspiel home, and we have 120, whatever, fifth graders and another 120 fourth graders, and so that's another issue. So thinking about different things I can do. Maybe they can do that as an assignment while they're here. Maybe I can turn a closet into a practice room and put
Create
a
like a
window
lab or whatever.
make it a little bit more soundproof, create a window, that way it's not a closed door. Something that they can do, and they can go in one by one and they can measure their progress.
Very
I don't know,
interesting.
it's just some ideas.
Yeah. And so we are happy with our decision. We're happy with the goal. Do you feel that you are doing less talking and they are working more together? So you feel like we made progress in that?
Yes. There's definitely some things I still need to work on, but it's not overnight. It's something that I'm going to have to keep working at. I do see that the students are happier as well because they love getting to do more than to listen. Listening is something they have to learn, but at the same time, students don't learn by lecture. They don't learn well by that. Some do, but it's a differentiation of, well, this student learns more hands-on. This student learns more on the research. Just having to change things every week instead of just having them sit and listening to me.
Right.
So this helps a lot.
Good. When should we meet again?
Maybe in a week.
Okay. What task would you like us to do together before we meet again? Is there anything that do you want to implement this strategy with more classes or more grades, and then we can revisit to see if it's age appropriate, if it's certain classes we need to modify or tweak more?
I definitely want to do a new lesson with this strategy. So instead of doing what I've done this week, implementing it for next week's lessons as well to see, because next week we're doing a game and it'll be a little bit different. So maybe after the game is over, getting students to think, pair, and share of what worked, what didn't work, stuff like that. But I think that would be a great idea.
And when would you like for us to have those tasks completed? So you said you were going to play a game, maybe sometime after Thanksgiving break, because I keep forgetting that's coming up too. So we might have to table our next meeting till after Thanksgiving break.
They're all finished on that Friday, and then we have the break. Maybe after Thanksgiving break would be wonderful.
And the task that we're going to do to prepare, who will do them? Do you want to work together? Do you want to work by yourself? Or will it be a student created thing?
I'd love to see a student created task
Mhm.
and figuring out, because they love to lead a class. I've seen
Mhm.
that too. They love to do whatever they can to help and
Yes.
to create their own learning, and that's what we want. Anyways,
Right.
that's a goal. It depends on how they execute that,
Mhm.
but maybe having them come up with the questions, maybe having them come up with um, what should we discuss in these groups?
Mhm.
How can we change our group setting? How can we better understand the lesson that we learned
Or
today?
maybe they could even possibly design a simple rubric if they're
Good
coaching each other, and you said they love to help,
They
and
do.
that way their partner knows, where they're at, what areas to work on. So that sounds like a great,
idea. I'm gonna write that.
so that sounds like a great idea. And I agree with you. The older kids love to help in any way possible. And so now we're going to introduce the goal into the children coming up with different ways of improving the cooperative learning as well. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how committed to this new goal are we?
I'm very committed. 5. I mean, I would love to see this happen,
Mhm.
and it would change a lot in my classroom as well. I think it would change more of a more inviting environment. I mean, it's inviting. I believe it is, but even more so, especially that's with the older students. That's my biggest challenge is whenever there's opposition and defiance and stuff like that happening in the classroom. What can I do to make it more inviting for them, more welcoming, something that they would love to come to, but also want to listen, want to do more. So I think this would help a lot.
And I think too, if they take ownership,
Mm-hmm.
or they feel they have ownership of it, then they have more buy-in of the product that y'all are trying to produce. Then they feel like they're more in control.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you still are running the show, in their mind, they're more in control. Um, so it sounds like you just have welcomed this new idea and that you have just been wonderful to coach and just willing to allow me to, put my little thoughts in. And
Thank you very much.
you
It's
have
been
just,
wonderful.
yes, and I really have enjoyed our time, even though it's not over.
It's not over. That's
Nope.
a big spring break.
So any other concerns or anything else that I can do to help you?
Maybe check in maybe
Okay.
this week or next week
Okay.
and ask how it's going implementing these goals. I'm going to go ahead and restructure that into my lesson today.
Okay.
See if I can add that in.
All right. Well, again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful, warm evening.
Thank you.